Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My spiritual soul sister, one of my best friends, Laura Cifaldi. You are like sunshine for my soul, and I am so, so excited to have you on the show today so we can give all your goodness to all the listeners who are tuning in today. Today is a really special moment for me. I know it's also a special moment for you. We're normally like two girls that are out in the town grabbing coffee and grabbing lunch, and now I feel like we're having this adult moment sitting on these two chairs and we're doing big girl things, with this podcast. And when I think about this podcast and all the magic that I was creating around it and what I was visualizing for it, when I thought about the type of people that I wanted to have on the show and the types of conversations that I wanted to have, you were at the very, very top of my list. You are a wildly gifted human being. And when I mean sunshine for the soul, I really, really mean that from the depths of my soul, because that's what you have been for me and my life. And my goal in us talking today, there's so much we're going to get into, but my goal in talking today is for viewers to step away from this conversation with us having hopefully really touched their hearts and really opened up their minds to a different way of looking at things, and really embrace that the universe and all things spiritual can be really, really magical. And my hopes is that people walk away from this conversation with wanting to really hone in on their intuition and how our intuition always guides us. I hope that they take away from this conversation the beautiful gifts, otherwise known as synchronicities, that the universe can use to also help to guide us. I want people to know that our loved ones, even though they might be in heaven, are never far from us and they're always with us. Mm-hmm. And I think I also want people to really take away from our conversation that life is always happening for us and not to us, and to always trust the flow of how life is unfolding. And when I think about synchronicities, it makes me laugh. And I don't know that we've ever really talked through all the details about this, but we've been really good friends for about 10 years now. I think when we were talking last, we're like, oh my gosh, it's literally been like 10 years, which is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But we didn't know each other at all 10 years ago. And how we met each other was, I went onto Facebook one day because I wanted to silence the notifications of this. I was in like one of those public groups that you're in. It was like a mom's group in New Jersey. And there were way too many notifications coming. And I went in to silence it. And when I opened up the Facebook page, there was a post in which a woman was seeking feedback from followers. She wanted to connect her husband, who had just lost his parents. She wanted to connect him with a medium, someone who was intuitive. And I remember when I saw this post, I was like, these are my people. I cannot wait to see who everyone is talking about. And you know me, I literally energetically profile everyone. And as I'm going through this list, I was like, not a shot in hell. No way. You're not a fit for me. You're not right. And then I came across you. And there was such a strong energetic pull that I felt towards you. There was this sense of safety. The aura that you had about you felt just very safe and bright. And I was intrigued. And everything in me, all the whispers in me, were pointing me in the direction of, you need time with this person. And I took down your information. And when I had reached out to you at the time, I had lost my mom. My mom had passed. It was a few years at that point in time. And we had done a couple sessions, and the intentions of those sessions were to connect me with my loved ones, and specifically my mom. And then as life kind of unfolded, it turned into more learning about my life purpose and what my team on the other side, what my spirit guides, what my angels wanted me to learn and to do while I was here on earth. And then I had lost my brother, which kind of took me right back down to ground zero again. And then a couple years after my brother, I had lost my father. And through all of this, I always had you by my side. But at some point in our relationship, it turned from us having these like incredible sessions with each other and talking about all things spiritual. And then we became really, really good friends. And that's where we literally reside now. And it just really validates and reinforces that the universe knows what it's doing, and it knows when it's putting people, places, and things in your pathway, that it's something to take note to. And I am so grateful that you are in my life and the ride that we have had so far. And I cannot wait to just share all the magic with the questions that I have for you today and all the answers that you're going to give to everyone. So babe, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. It's
Aww.
like, I'm almost speechless. I'm like, oh, that was so sweet.
I love you and I adore you, and you're literally sunshine for the soul. And I think everyone who has access to you, and hopefully will have access to you after this, they are better for having known you. So there's so much I want to get into.
Okay.
I want you to take me back to being little Laura, being a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, obviously everyone knows that you have this gift, but I want to know what it was like for little Laura when this was all unfolding for you, when you didn't necessarily know that this was a gift that was unfolding. Take me back to what that experience was like for you.
So my first recollection, I guess you could say, was around the age of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like any other child, I had an imaginary friend, which at the time, my parents looking back now, they would say to me, I would say, oh, I'm playing with my friend. And they were like, oh, that's so sweet. Meanwhile, I really was playing with somebody in the closet.
Oh my God.
I said to my mother, I'm like, you didn't find it a little odd? I would sit in the closet for like 4 hours. She's like, well, no, you were just playing with your dolls. I'm like, my Harry Potter? Like, what's happening?
It is Harry Potter.
But yeah, so I would see my own angels, and I would sleep with them. I had a little single bed, and I would make room for my angels. I do have one distinct memory. It was around the age of 7 where I had a neighbor that had passed away, and she was standing at the foot of my bed. I didn't know that she passed at the time. And she was standing at the foot of my bed, and she basically said to me, tell my parents, my family, that I love them. And I remember it was almost like the little boy in Sixth Sense, like when you kind of pull the covers up and you're like, why are you in my room?
Yeah.
That's kind of like my response to her. Like, why are you here?
And were you scared to death in that moment?
Yeah,
did you really know
afraid.
Did you think, am I really seeing this?
No. Well, you know what it was? I remember at that time, we lived in a small apartment and I shared a room with my brothers. My brothers had bunk beds and I had that single bed. And the way that the room was situated was the end of my bed, there was like a window there. And then my brother's bunk bed were like straight ahead of me. And where I saw her, she was standing like at the foot of my bed, but along the window. So in my mind, I was thinking, how did she get in through the window? Did she climb up through the window?
Right, because you're thinking it's a real person.
I'm thinking it's a person.
Well, and it's your neighbor.
And it's my neighbor.
Right.
So, and she was 17, she was young.
Right.
So this is kind of everything I was trying to process at that moment. And then I couldn't understand why she said all that to me. It was the next morning when I went downstairs, I heard my mom crying. And like any other child, you hear your mom crying, it's a little traumatic.
Yeah.
You're like, why is my mom crying? And I remember coming around the corner and my mom's back was to me. She was in front of the sink and I'll never forget, she had a towel in her hair. She was washing dishes. She was on the phone. She was tethered to the wall because this is back in the 80s, right? So a wall phone. And I heard her crying and then she hung up the phone and then there was a knock at the back door and it was the girl's brother, the neighbor's brother. And he came in and she's like, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. And I was like really puzzled and I go, what happened? And then she told me, she said, honey, she, I don't want to say her name, but she passed away last night. And I remember thinking oh my gosh, how did she pass away? She was just in my room. So that was one of the very first memories that I had of something that kind of, threw me back a little bit. And, I was kind of like, well, why did I see this? And it was very confusing. And I never told anybody until recent years. Right.
So when you see spirit, how do you see them? How do you see and feel them? How did you see and feel them then? And do you still see and feel them the same way now?
Yes, I still see and feel them the same, but it's a little more enhanced, just like anything else, because I've been utilizing it. It's like a muscle. You work it out, you're building it. Right. So, I'm able to, I guess I'm seeing them a little differently. It's just more, it's a little bit more.
And are you literally seeing them as if they were standing in front of us? So it's not like an aura.
It's different for everything. It's different. So sometimes I am physically seeing them where it's a person standing in front of me. Right. And then sometimes it's more in my mind. Right. That's the best way to describe it to you.
That makes sense. The way when you say that it's more in my mind, the way I envision that for me is like when I'm driving and I start to daydream and think about something, like how I'm
Exactly.
visualizing it
Yep.
in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you say that to me, that's kind of like what
Yeah.
comes to mind for me.
Yep.
So I would imagine being a little girl when this was all unfolding for you, that this was obviously a new thing. It was probably scary. You were probably trying to figure out what was going on. Did
Yeah.
you have to, at some point, as this was evolving, and at some point you probably realized, okay, wait a second, I am actually like this is real. Did you have to implement any boundaries for yourself? Because I would imagine as like a little girl, and even until you got to like a more comfortable, safer place with the gift, did it scare you? Did you have to say, wait a second, like, I don't want to see you like this? Or, was there a way for you to kind of have safe spaces for you so that you weren't always being infiltrated?
As a child, no.
No.
I didn't really have that. And it's really funny because looking back, they always say hindsight is 20/20,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
Looking back, and even talking with my mom and my aunt and other family members, and you're going to find this interesting. I don't know if I ever told you this, but my father, that he's a police officer.
Yep.
He's now retired. But when you go to the gun range and you wear the headphones,
Yeah.
I would not go to sleep without headphones on because I would tell my mother that the boys talk and keep me up all night.
Oh my gosh.
The boys are talking and keeping me up all night, and
Yeah.
I could not sleep without my headphones. I'd sleep with these big headphones.
And would that literally muffle it out?
It would muffle the sound out. So and as a child, I think because I was having a hard time kind of piecing together what was happening.
Yeah.
And so picture a 7-year-old little girl with these big earphones on, trying to roll over on her pillow.
Right.
I had these big things on, and it's funny because my aunt. My uncle and my aunt got divorced many years ago, but we since like reconnected, and she was always like the cool aunt, And I remember talking to her like years ago. She's like, I always knew you had a gift. I always knew it was something. She's like, I got to tell you a story about the one night I was babysitting you guys. She goes, you came downstairs and you were like, Aunt Nikki, the boys won't stop talking. She's like, all right, come on, Laura. She took me back up the stairs. She goes, Chris and Carl were sound asleep in their beds. And she's like, they're not talking. Who's talking? And I'm like, they're keeping me up. They won't stop, Aunt Nikki. And she's like, all right, well, they're sleeping now. Go back to bed. So she put my headphones back on. She said within 2 minutes, I came back down. They started right up again, Aunt Nikki. They won't stop.
She's probably like, what the hell is
like,
going
what's
on?
What's going on with this kid? Like, what is she talking
You're
about?
like,
I'm
I
like,
talk
see?
to dead people.
But yeah,
do you find with time that you are honing your abilities, and has your gift gotten stronger?
100%. Yeah.
And like, in what ways? Like, how do you know that you are leveling up with your gift?
So I know that I'm leveling up with my gift because I have more control over it. So that was a great example is what you just asked me. Like, as a child, was I able to set boundaries? I wasn't able to set boundaries. I didn't understand it. It was almost, because I remember in the beginning, even when I really fully embraced my gift, it was almost like it sort of felt like I was a sitting duck. Like I was just waiting for the information to come in. Like, okay, they're going to give me the information now. I didn't realize that I had control over asking questions. Telepathically, of course.
That's interesting.
Asking questions. It was sort of like I was just waiting for them to give me the answers.
Right.
And the spirit was just like, well, what do you want to know?
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know, whatever you want to tell me. And I would just sit there and just wait, So now I've honed my gift to the point where now I understand that I have to ask questions. There's a dialogue that kind of happens. I get to tell them, when, where, how, no, I don't want to connect with you today.
Implementing those boundaries for yourself.
Implementing the boundaries. Also interpreting, right? It's a big part of mediumship.
Yeah.
And even psychic, anything spiritual, really, I guess you could say. It's interpretation. It's interpretation.
Right.
It's how I'm interpreting. So, building my symbol chart, if you will, if you want to call it, you want to say it that way, it's certain.
I love that. You've actually never referenced that. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Symbol chart. So I just, this morning I had a reading with someone, and it's a really funny, I don't even know if this is appropriate, but I'll say it anyway. I was connecting, we were talking more about, people that are still here and somebody that she's dating. And I said to her, I go, well, he's in a really, he's in a place in his life where he just doesn't want to grow up.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I just thought I would just let you in on this little side note on how I came up with that. She's like, that's exactly what it is. I'm like, do you want to know how I came up with that? She's like, what? I go, my symbol for that is, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
my
It's
God.
a little jingle.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's part of, I guess you could call it, my symbol chart.
Right.
So anytime I hear that, I know that the person isn't really willing or wanting to go to that next level. Like they're kind of stuck where they are.
Oh my God, I love that.
So I don't know if that's a good example, but that's just an
and
idea.
I think it makes sense. Like with time, you continue to build these charts and these symbols so that when these things pop up, you can more immediately identify with, okay, wait, this is what they're trying to communicate to me.
Exactly.
And you always say to me, you're always like, Lauren, I'm not God. I'm doing the best that I can with interpreting with what they're trying to communicate to me. 100%. And I would also imagine that some spirits with stronger energies can probably be more clear in what they're communicating. Maybe a younger spirit that's just passed. So it kind of probably goes both ways.
Everybody, not to interrupt you, but everybody comes through differently. Some just depending on the person, there are moments where I'll channel them and I'll take on their persona and I'll act like them, talk like them, and it's exact. And then other times it is a little more piecey or puzzly.
Right, where it's like identifying through the symbols. Mm-hmm. So I know that part of what you love to work on, or I don't know if love is the right word. I think I want to say you have a passion for helping to solve criminal cases.
Yeah.
And something that you ride by is you will never, ever exploit the families. And I know that you've worked on some really, really notable cases and you never, ever have exploited these families. And I love that about you. I think that's one of the qualities about you, and especially with your gift, is people, when they come to you, are in such vulnerable situations and you are such a vault for everyone and just hold such a safe space. And I think with you being a healer and having this gift, when you're able to hold that safe space for people, it allows them to heal. And it's like such a beautiful way that you engage with people. And when I think about these criminal cases, there's a lot of weight that comes to some of these. Like there's a lot of horrifying things that you are walking through with these families to help piece together. How do you protect yourself from the magnitude and weight of some of these situations?
How do I protect myself? I pray, I pray and I would just say that I pray.
Yeah.
That's mainly, there's really, it's hard. There've been many times where I threw myself on my bed and just punched my pillow and cried, frustrated, and just, but then I pick myself up and I'm like, nope, I have to do it because I have to help somebody else.
Right.
I have to keep going.
Right.
I
know that you love to help everyone connect with people that they've lost. Mm-hmm. And one area that I think probably really hits home more than others is children.
Yeah.
Parents who have lost children. And you're a mom, I'm a mom. I think anyone would agree that it's not natural to lose a child before we go. And what do you want to share with parents who have lost a child? What do you want them to know with suffering a loss of that magnitude?
Or
better yet, maybe I can ask it as, what do you think the kids in heaven want their parents to know?
The kids in heaven, they want their parents to know that they're okay, that they're safe, and that they're always with them. Mm-hmm. Anytime I've ever connected with a child, they always come through, bubbly and happy with their personality and teasing. And I just had one. Ironically, I just had one this morning, little boy. That I was connecting for his mom, and he was playing with her hair, pulling it, like tugging on her hair, braiding it, and he was giving her really nice validations. And so across the board, that's what I would say, that they just want them to know, because I think, and I'm sure you would agree, as a mom, I know, right? It's like you want to know your child is safe. Yeah. It's like, where are they? Are they okay? Are they safe? And that's one of the biggest things that children come through. That's one of the first things that they say is, I'm safe. And I would even say 10 out of 10, pretty much across the board. I can't, like, trying to skim through all my readings. I can't remember any time that a child didn't come through with somebody else. Like, I'm here with my grandmother. I'm here with Uncle so-and-so.
Meaning that they're always with
They're
a
with
loved
somebody.
one on the other
Yeah,
side.
they always make sure that they reference somebody, because I think for a parent that gives them more peace. Like, okay, good, they're with my grandmother. They're with my brother. Okay, they're with so-and-so. They've even brought pets through. I have whatever the dog is, or the pet, or the animal. Like, oh my gosh, they're together.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to hear, because I think as a mom or as parents, it's our job to protect our children. And there's got to be some element that when you lose your child, it's the unknown. It's where are they? Are they okay? And I think for them to step forward with another loved one, I think does bring a sense of peace that can hopefully wash over these parents that are going through that. But I remember when you had shared with me, you did like an incredible group reading and I remember how emotional you were when we were talking about it, and how seriously you took it, and how all these children were coming through. And I remember crying with you on the phone. I was like, this is really something, like to have that moment where you can be the cross communicator between these little beings, in heaven with their parents. I think is really unbelievable. Were you gonna chime in?
Yeah, I wanted to just add one extra thing on there. I think with the kids, and I love that you brought that up, that reading, what they often do, and I think it's across the board, even adults, but more so the children. They'll bring in validations of things that are happening in the here and now with the parents.
Oh, I love that.
Like
to validate, I'm still with you.
Like the little boy, I don't know if you remember, part of that group, he was talking about the blue truck, and he referenced his brother and a storybook and all this stuff. And the mother was like, oh my gosh, my son. And I said his name.
Yeah.
The brother brought up the name. And she was like, I was reading him that story last night, and he was playing with his blue little truck. Aww. So it was the brother's way of acknowledging that I was there while you were reading the story. Yeah,
I'm there with you literally in real time. That is really something. What are ways that people can like hone their own intuitive gifts? Like, you hear like some people are clairvoyant, or like you can hear things, or you can see things, or you can smell things. Like, what are the different ways that people can hone their own intuitive abilities?
I think the first step with honing your own abilities is just not dismissing, and being more confident with your intuition. It is. I know for me, I'm like, oh, it's so simple, but it is simple in a way, because I tell everybody across the board, when you see your loved one, when you think that you're thinking of them, or they pop up in your mind, you're actually seeing them. You're actually seeing them.
I don't know if like people really know that. Like,
they don't know that.
Yeah, they just think it's a thought.
They think it's a thought, but you're actually it is that simple.
Right. So you're saying like something is being pushed from the other side. They are pushing an energy from the other side to interject your thoughts to let you know that they are there with you.
That they're with you. It's one of those moments where, you're walking, you're washing dishes, you're not thinking of anything, and all of a sudden, bam, your loved one pops in. That's them. Yeah. They're giving you a message. They're saying hello. They're saying, I love you.
Oh, I love that.
That's
so it's like, instead of in those moments, because I think sometimes when you have those moments, I think it's natural where like you'll get sad.
Yeah.
Where like the person crosses your mind, and you're like, oh, like your body clenches or your heart clenches. And I think that's like a really nice way of flipping it. Like, it's actually the complete opposite. Like, it's not a sad moment. It's like, hello, like I'm here with you. Like, I'm with you. Like, I think that's a beautiful way to like flip that on its head.
Different perspective.
Yeah, a totally different perspective. And that truly is, I feel like, what the whole spiritual world is about, is like flipping everything on its head and coming at things with a different perspective.
Yep.
So I want to talk about soul contracts a little bit. I shared in the beginning when we started the podcast that I lost my mom, I've lost my brother, and I lost my father. I lost them all at very different times, very unexpectedly, and very traumatically. And I was at a point in my life after all this loss where I was starting to operate in fight or flight. I actually would notice that I was holding my breath a lot because of that notion of getting a phone call and like something turning that quick in my life. And that was real. Like, people that I loved were literally being taken from me. And it got scary there for a minute. And I remember after my dad had passed, I remember thinking to myself, like, this is not normal to suffer this amount of loss in the way that I had. And I felt so alone, and the magnitude and the weight of the loss that I had sustained really affected me in very different ways. And I had worked with so many healers. We had had so many conversations. I put so much work into myself where I was able to get to a place where I was actually able to understand that we as souls come into our lifetimes with lessons to be achieved, with memories to be gained. We come into contracts with each other, whether it be, you're going to be my mom, you're going to be my brother, you're going to be my loved one, whatever it may be. And when I started to look at my mom, my brother, and my dad as souls versus just my profound loss, that's when I noticed that my perspective on life and managing the magnitude of my loss, that's when things started to shift for me and the weight started to come off. It became less about the devastation and it became more about like taking a step back and understanding like, wait a minute, like we all came into this lifetime with a purpose and they all had their purposes too. And of course we all have free will and that can affect things and how we leave Earth. But that really was a massive shift for me. And I want you to share a little bit about that. And is that real from your perspective and the notion of soul contracts?
100%. I always give the analogy, and I think see if this resonates with you. It's like school. You can't learn all the possible lessons that you need to learn in one lifetime, right? And the reason why I'm saying soul, because there's a connection there with past lives too.
Right.
So we need to have multiple lifetimes in order to just have different lessons. And then the soul contract is basically with our soul group, and we could switch roles around, like you said. So I know in a past life I was my mother's mother. I said it to her the other day, actually. I was like, I was your mother in a past life. She's like, stop telling me what to do. I'm like, that's why. I'm sorry. It's just an age. Can't help myself.
And I'm back.
I'm like, back to that. But yeah, so soul contracts, that's basically...
So it's a very, very real thing. Yeah, I want people, often people will come to me for advice because I've sustained such loss, and I still think life is incredible and beautiful. And I have really come back around with such vibrancy, and people will really ask me like, how did you get through that? And that's something that I often share with them because I really want them to take that with them, because we can't carry such heaviness and sadness. And I think if you can look at life as everyone that's around us and in our families is here for a purpose, and we all came in as a team.
Yeah.
And when you look at it that way, I just think it makes loss a little less fierce when you're able to just like really look at someone as a soul, like, wow, like they're here just like I'm here to achieve our own purposes. And for me, that's been a really special way to lessen the burden of some of what I've been dealt.
I love the way you said that too with the team, because that's sort of another way that I, articulate or I express it to people too. It's like this team effort. It's kind of like before the big game, right? It's like when you're in locker room and you're like, okay, we're going to do this play and we're going to do that. And this is your role and that's your role,
Right.
And then you get out there and then just things kind of just go differently.
Right.
And not you, but I'm just saying people in general sometimes,
right.
They have a hard time working past, like, why didn't this person do X, Y, Z? I wish I could have helped them. I wish I could have done this, or this, because they know the conversation, their soul remembers that conversation on a subconscious level, like with what they talked about before they came in, like, oh, they were supposed to learn X, Y, Z lesson and they didn't do that. And
that's
like,
wild.
that's almost like why people feel like this sense of, say guilt, disappointment. They feel like that heaviness.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
sadness.
want to help them. I want to help them. I wanted to do this, and it went in a different direction. And so that's also part of like soul contracts too.
It's a really interesting way of like looking at life, and I hope that people who are experiencing any sadness right now, be like, wow, like I never thought about looking at it in that perspective. So we've talked about this, and this is a wild concept, but I love learning about this. So when people pass and they go to the other side, you've shared with me that people go through a life review. What is this? Is this real? What is this experience like?
So a life review basically is the good and the bad, right? So it's everything. It's sort of like watching a movie, basically. Watching a movie, a recap of your life. And you sit and you watch it and you experience it not only through your eyes, but through the other person's eyes. So when I say good and bad, it's, a chance to reflect and say, oh, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or that wasn't so great. But then it's also the moments that you don't realize, and this is another analogy I often give. It's kind of like, reflecting back on a moment that maybe you were running through the supermarket, you're on the phone, you're super crazy busy, running through, and there's a little old man trying to reach the top shelf with a can of soup, and he can't quite reach it. And you stop and you're like, oh, here you go. You grab it and you go, okay, have a good day. And you leave. And meanwhile, it was no big deal. You never remembered that moment again. But that little old man, for the rest of the day, while he was eating his soup, he was thinking about you and the nice gesture you made, and you stopped and you helped him, and it impacted him in a positive way. So you see that in your life review too. Like, wow, I didn't realize I made such a positive difference in this man's life, and I helped him. And it's like, so it's both. So that's what a life review is.
Now, what happens though when you go through this life review, and let's say there were some things that perhaps you could have done better in your lifetime? Like, what is that experience like? And I guess, what is the purpose in reflecting on that when you're on the other side? Is it so that when you come back around again to do better?
Yeah, it just helps your soul just understand. It's not judgment per se, like in a bad way. It's not like, oh my gosh, they're not like knife through the, horrible, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's done through the lens of just more understanding, like, oh, okay, if I'm presented with this situation next time, it's like lesson learned. It's like
lesson learned. How can I do better and improve on that?
It's learning from your past, learning from it's history. Like, it's just, okay, well, this maybe didn't work out so great that time. And you know what, next time when I revisit it, because that's usually what happens, you'll have to revisit that moment, and then it's kind of in there.
And do better and grow from that.
Yeah, you grow from that.
I love that. Would you say that there's specific ways that spirit can connect with us? So when I think about how I connect with spirit, I have had 42 dreams with my mom. They are not of my mom. They are literally with my mom. I had one dream with my brother. I also was woken up out of a dead cold sleep with my brother's name being spoken out loud. And I had spoken to you right after that. It was actually the day after his funeral, and it scared the living hell out of me. But it scared me to the point that I knew it was real. And I also had a dream with my dad, and that is a gift to me, the fact that I'm able to connect with them in that way and have that connection with them. But I think there's other ways that we can connect with people, whether it be through synchronicities of times on clocks or through songs and music. What are ways that people can, instead of thinking like, oh, that was just a passing thought, like, what are ways that spirit connects with us where maybe now when it happens, people can stop and think, oh, wait a second, maybe that is my mom or my dad trying to get my attention?
So it could be anything. A lot of times they do animals, right? They do animals. It's funny because I had a squirrel on my back patio about, 2 months ago. It was this big, like, fat squirrel. He was the cutest thing ever. I looked outside and I said to my son, I go, oh, there's Grandpa. He's like, Grandpa's a squirrel. I'm like, came back a squirrel. Like, let's feed him. Like, animals. And it's not even just that. It's whatever makes sense for a person. You could basically ask your loved one to send you signs. It could be anything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there's two things that just came to mind when you said this. When you're talking about the squirrels, it like makes me giggle. But it makes me also think about, do pets go to heaven?
Oh, yes, they do.
And I think that's really important for people to know, because I think just like how people love their children and their family members, I think people like genuinely love their pets. And I think they want to know that their pets are happy and they're over there and they're going to be reunited again. So like, that's a real thing, right? Like when pets cross the rainbow bridge, they go to heaven and you will see them again, just like you'll see your loved one that's passed. So
I love that you're asking me this question, because we just talked about a little while ago how, my gift is, how it's evolved over time, right? And it's continuously evolving, and just like anything else, right? I just had this sort of download that came in maybe like, I don't know, 2 months ago,
Uh-huh.
where with pets and the Rainbow Bridge, it was like I was driving in my car and I just automatically heard the reason why there is a Rainbow Bridge. It's because it's almost like a doggy door or an animal door, like, just for animals. It's animals have the Rainbow Bridge because they are pure.
Yeah.
They don't need a life review. So they have this special bridge that only they could go across.
Right.
Humans have to go through a life review process, but animals are just pure beings. They're pure.
They just literally love you unconditionally.
They love you unconditionally.
There's no baggage. There's no bullshit.
There's nothing. They just go right straight to heaven. It's like right there, boom, like ticket right in, fast lane,
right?
Like fast pass.
Easy pass.
Right? Easy pass. But I love that you asked that because it's literally something that just kind of came to me. I was driving that's what I was saying. I was driving in the car and I was like, that's why there's a Rainbow Bridge. And people are like, honk. I was like, oh gosh.
You're having your moment.
I'm like, can't you give this to me while I'm not driving? Like, why does this have to happen now?
You know what makes me think about, one time you told me this hilarious story where a gentleman that you were reading wanted to be connected to his guinea pig. Do you remember that, Laura?
Oh my gosh, that was so many years ago. Yes.
Do you remember that?
Wasn't that like 8
you were
years
like,
ago?
Laura, you're like, he wanted to connect to his guinea pig.
Yes.
And I was like, are you
I forgot
kidding me?
that. Yeah.
Like, this is what we're connecting with. But listen, to each their own. Maybe he loved that damn little fur ball.
Yeah.
But I think about that. It's like people have dogs, they have cats, and some people have guinea pigs.
And here's another one for you. All flowers go to heaven. I had a woman that connected with her tulip.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
She came up. Yep, the tulip came through in a group. It was a group reading.
Oh
I was
God.
so perplexed. I'm like, I'm seeing a tulip. The woman, started, and I'm not making fun.
No, yeah. It was something that meant something for her.
It was something that meant she was like crying. She said, yes. And I said, this is a tulip. I said, I know this might sound odd because I'm thinking like it's interpretation.
Right.
And she's like, no, I did everything I can to keep it alive. It just meant a lot to me. So the tulip came through to say,
and I wonder if maybe
know.
like someone gave it to her that like meant something to her.
Yeah, I don't really remember at the time, but it
yeah.
meant so much to her. And she was devastated that she couldn't keep this tulip alive. But I'm like, all tulips go to heaven.
Oh my God.
I'm like, all flowers go to heaven.
All good things go to
so
heaven.
I just love it.
I love that. Yeah, the guinea pig makes me laugh.
The guinea pig.
When we were talking about ways to connect with spirit, I had recently shared on my Instagram the pink duck movement.
Okay.
And it was so interesting for me because sometimes we are all spiritual beings having human experience. And like everyone else, there are many, many times where I'm unsure of what to do, or I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And I cannot tell you how many times where when I give it to the universe and I put it out there and I ask for guidance and assistance, how the universe always steps up for me. And I don't know that people realize that this is like a very real, tangible tool that you have that you can execute every day. And for me at the time, I had asked for the universe to give me a symbol of a pink duck. And I try to make them very strange because it's like sometimes when you get your symbol, you push back. You're like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, am I making this up?
Yeah.
Like, am I really seeing this? And I remember at the time when I was going through this decision making, I was like saying to my husband, I was like, this pink duck has not showed up. Like, who am I to be giving spiritual wisdom when my own pink duck, my symbol hasn't showed up? And literally seconds later, this pink duck had showed up. And so I want you to talk a little bit about how, because you were saying before, like with spirit, you have to ask. Like spirit, at least I believe, and at least what I've always been taught, spirit is not going to interject because we have free will.
Yeah.
But if you ask, spirit will step up for you. So share a little bit about that with me. And is that a very real and tangible tool that people can use?
100%. And I think you said it the best, and that's where I always say it's not about making a shoe fit. And I think that's a lot of times what happens with us. Like we start overthinking, like, well, am I trying to make a shoe fit? Am I, forcing myself to see blah, 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 whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I had a very specific, a situation happened with me. This was during COVID. I don't know if you remember this story, if I told you or not, but I ended up getting COVID. And that was like kind of like one of the lockdowns happened. And, everyone was like quarantining and stuff like that. And I was like really sick. And I think it was like day 14 or 15. I was stuck in my room, remember? Like everyone's like stuck in their room. And I was in my room, and it just seems like it was getting progressively worse. I mean, I was on a boatload of like meds, like, you know, steroids, you know, antibiotic and so on and so forth. And not saying maybe I was a little dramatic at the time, but I'm not an overly, you know, dramatic person. I'm not like a hypochondriac or anything. But I remember calling my mom. It was Mother's Day. And I hadn't seen my kids or anybody. And I remember calling her and saying to her, I'm like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I think I'm like really sick.
Yeah.
She's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, because maybe you need to go to the hospital. I was trying not to go to the hospital at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to try to just kind of like ride it out a little longer. And, you know, if something happens, I'm like, you know, I just, you know, make sure my kids are okay. She's like, stop talking like that, whatever. So, you know, I ended the call with her, and I remember going back in, you know, into my bed, because it was like the master bath I was talking to her in. Went back into my bed, and I remember stopping and just kind of looking up and saying, okay, here's the deal. I'm like, if I'm going to be okay, just give me a sign, show me a red cardinal. If I'm going to be okay, by the end of the day today, I want to see that red cardinal. If not, I accept my fate. I know it's time. I'm done. I'm finished, like throwing in the towel. I'm good. You know, I don't want it to be that way, but if it is, then it's whatever your will, right? So I left it be. So the day progressed, and I remember every time I got up, and I remember I would look out the window. I'm like, I'm going to see a red cardinal now. And I looked out the window, no red cardinal. I'm like, okay. Then I would turn the TV on. I'm like, I'm going to see a red cardinal on the TV.
Oh my God. I feel this in my bones.
Yep.
I can feel this.
Turn the TV on. No red cardinal. I was literally looking for this red cardinal. I wanted this stupid red cardinal.
You were like willing this cardinal.
I wanted it so bad.
I got
right?
that.
And I remember going on my phone, scrolling through Instagram, no freaking red cardinal, right? Finally, it was like 11:30 at night. I'm like accepting my fate. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the end. Like, I'm done. You know, I was aggravated at this point. I was upset, more frustrated than aggravated, upset. And I was like, I'm just going to bed. So I turned the lights out, going to sleep. Maybe a few minutes afterwards, I hear my phone ding, right? So I'm like, oh, who the heck is texting me? It was like 11:45 at night. I'm like, who the heck is texting me? So I roll over. It was my work phone. And I pick it up, some random client, which was very thoughtful. It was very odd. It was 11:45 at night. I don't even know, to this day, I don't even know who it was.
So funny.
She wrote something along the lines of like, I'm so sorry it's so late. I just wanted to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I hope you had a beautiful day. And I responded back, of course. You know, I was like, oh, thank you. Same to you. Hope you enjoyed your beautiful day. And that was it. No one knew I was even sick.
Right.
So that was it, right? Put the phone down, rolled back over. I'm like, I'm going to sleep again. I heard the ding again. So I'm like, oh, she probably just said same to you. That was it, whatever. So I ignored it. Minute later, it dinged again. And I was like, oh my gosh. So now I rolled over. Now it's like 11:50, 11:52, whatever it was. I roll over. I pick up my phone. I look at it. Would you believe that she wrote, same to you. And oh, by the way, I wanted to share with you this beautiful video I took today. I hit play on the video. It was a red cardinal.
Oh, that like gives me chills.
Sorry, it was a little lengthy, the story. But it was a red cardinal. I looked up. I'm like, you were right down to the second. It was like almost 12 p.m. You waited to give me that cardinal. I felt like I was like, you know, it was like, let's play a joke on her.
Right.
Like, and I was like, oh, you got me on that one.
But what I love is how you said, like, it was so odd that she was texting me late at night, but nothing is ever odd, right? It's like it was exactly what it was supposed to be. And I think I love that story. And what I love most about that is that when you said, listen, here's the deal. Like, I think in life, when we're battling our minds and battling our thoughts, we get to a point where we're frustrated, like you said, and we don't want to seek external validation. We want to know what to do. We want to feel it. And it's such an incredible way to just put it out loud and to let the universe just kind of like roll it through and to give you that example. And I love how you presented it, because I have felt that way too, where I'm like, I am so tired of the spinning of my thoughts. So listen up, universe. Like, if this is what I'm supposed to do, you're supposed to show me this or show me that. And that's exactly how it rolled out for you. And that's exactly what it's supposed to be. I love that. I thought you were going to tell me that the cardinal like ran in headfirst into the window. So I'm glad it was like a more beautiful experience. I love that. I want to talk about soulmates. Are soulmates a real thing?
100%.
Yeah.
But you can have more than one.
You can have more than one. I also think that like soulmates can also come in the form of girlfriends.
100%.
I think that soulmates can also come in the form of your children. But I think it's like such a beautiful, special notion. Like when you know that the person that's in your life, I think it just resonates very differently in your heart and in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious if that's like a very real thing that people can experience.
100% soul. I always say like soul connections. You could say twin flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love that. So sometimes I feel like I have this notion of taking on other people's stuff, other people's energies. I'm a helper. I'm a fixer. If somebody's struggling, I literally want to swoop in and help them and take all their problems away. What does it mean to be an empath? And are there ways that empaths can protect themselves from those moments? Because I think it can be hard in the moments when you were so emotionally inclined and really emotionally feeling something. Are there ways that, first of all, I don't even know if people know what an empath is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can maybe explain, like, what does that mean to be an empath? And are there ways that if you do have these notions and tendencies, how to protect yourself?
Sure. So empath is basically, in a nutshell, you mirror the other people's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel sad, I'm going to feel sad. If you
Mhm.
feel angry, I feel angry.
Mhm.
That's basically what an empath is. A way that a person can protect themselves is just putting visualizing a bubble. That's
Mhm.
what I do for
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm.
is I put a bubble up around myself. I literally like Glinda the Good Witch and Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like I just bubble up. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, just bubble up. Some people
Oh my God, I love that.
Some people need like a center block wall, depending on the energy.
Some people level up and some people bubble up.
There you go.
I love
Bubble
that.
up at Lauren.
I love that. That's
We got to
so
bubble
good.
up. But it's true though, and it's funny because I taught that to my kids where I'll read them. And my son turned around now. He's so funny. He's a little stinker.
Yeah.
He'll be like, can't read me, Mom. I got my wall up. He's like, I have a brick wall up right now. Don't even try it. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm teaching them.
I love that.
Now I can't read them.
Boundaries and bubbles.
Yep. But that's basically what an empath is. You mirror another person's emotions.
Yeah.
You feel what they feel.
I had a very unique experience, and I had talked to you after this had happened. I sit on the board of trustees for a really special facility in New Jersey for children who have behavioral health issues. And I have a room in the facility that is a really special experience for these kids to help kind of regulate their nervous systems. And a lot of the children that are in the facilities are managing some really serious things. Their ages from 12 to 18. And I had a day where I went to go check on this room that I had done for them. And a bunch of the children were there. I wasn't interacting with them. They were going about their business and doing their activities and their classes. But energetically, what these children have lived, I felt like I was feeling at a very, very intense level. And what was crushing me the most was, these kids being as young as 12 and some of them being a little older have faced some really horrifying things in their life by people that they really loved and trusted. And for some of these kids, they are literally trying to survive, like trying to just survive and to stay here on earth. And when I left that day, I was beside myself, sobbing in my car.
Yeah.
The weight of what these kids have experienced was literally imprinted on me. And it took me 2 days to shake it. I could not stop crying. And I remember I had talked to you, and I had talked to a friend she's very spiritually inclined as well. And I was like, I can't do that again. And I have to find ways to protect myself because yes, I want to help everyone and protect everyone, but this is also not my stuff to carry. And I have to find ways to protect my spirit and protect my energy. And that was a really, really eye-opening moment for me where I had to really learn different ways of entering into experiences, like you said, putting up that protective bubble of yes, I can be here and I can be present and I can be engaging and share my love. But it's not always our jobs to take on the energy and other people's paths. Does that feel fair to say that?
Yes, 100%. I think that's like one of the biggest things, even with, with being an empath as well. It's like taking it on. It's like and it's funny because I almost remember in the beginning when somebody else, another person, another medium that I was speaking with, she was actually saying to me, she's like, why are you taking it on? Why do you feel like you have to?
Right.
And she's like, you have to put the wall up in order to protect yourself. Otherwise, you won't be able to continue to help other people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I never really looked at it that way.
Yeah. That's such an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, I think it's just a notion of give where you can, but also protect your energetic field too, because it's just going to take you down.
100%.
I want to talk about, you said something to me once and I was like, oh, that is so good. You once said to me, karma times 2.
Oh.
So, in life, if people piss you off or if they're not doing right by you, or even sometimes if people have ill intent, you once said to me, I was like, Laura, like, how does this work? Like, how do people go through life thinking they can just say or do things or have bad intentions for people? And you had said to me, you were like, Lauren, it's karma times 2. What does that mean? Because I remember walking away from that and I was like, that is like a slogan in my head. And I think about it all the time. I was like, you can do your evil shit over there and karma times 2. So what does that mean?
So that means that basically whatever they've done to somebody else or other people, it'll come back to them times 2.
Times 2. And is it almost like whatever you did to the person, whatever it caused that person, is it like that person releases and not only do you feel what you did to that person, but then it's also your karmic learning or moment of growth?
Basically,
is that like a way to explain it?
That's a better way to explain it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So everyone, I want you to hear out there, you better do right in life, otherwise it's karma times 2.
I like that.
It's coming for your ass twice.
Yep, it's coming for your ass twice. And some people, I just want to make another note.
Yeah.
And some people, you'll see that they're experiencing their karma not even in the next life. Sometimes they start it in this life.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because I've seen that happen too.
I believe that. And sometimes I believe that too with people who are having, I don't want to say a difficult time, but like people who just are like difficult human beings, or like people who just don't do the right thing in life. I often will say to myself, I feel like you are living your karma. Life is hard for you. And maybe it's because of their actions and what they're doing and what they're putting out. So I think that's like interesting too, that like sometimes people could like literally be living it right now. It's not even like a future thing. Like, it's like when you stir something up, like you're going to go through that experience right now to grow and to level up from that. Is that how it works?
100%.
Yeah. So looking ahead, you have some exciting things. You are in the process, maybe completed, of writing a book, soon to be publishing it. I had literally the greatest honor of reading this book as you were writing it. It was so wild for me to read this. I felt like I really learned more about you, which was really special for me. I feel like I got like an inside peek into you. And I remember when I finished this book, I do not blow smoke up anyone's ass. And when I finished this book, I said to you, Laura, this is really special. This is Simon and Schuster level worthy. This is Hay House level worthy. Like what you have written is going to really change people's lives. And it made me think about, and I know this is, one of your intentions, it made me think about the young child that is, living somewhere who might not have access to the spiritual world, who might be experiencing things like this. And I was like, people are going to read this book and not only be able to help themselves if they're going on their own spiritual journey, but just like, I think just like open their eyes and hearts to the spiritual world in general. And what are your hopes in having written this book, and what are you hoping it's going to do for people?
I'm hoping that it's going to just give another perspective, with the other side, but also, I guess maybe because when I was a child, I didn't really have a lot of those answers, and I didn't really understand a lot of what was happening for me. So maybe there's somebody out there that can relate to that and find it relatable in my story and say, oh, wait, I feel this too, and I'm going through this.
And maybe not feel so lonely.
Yeah.
But like there's other people out there that feel this way and are going through these things.
100%. Even, you know, and I even wanted to dedicate one of the chapters in there with the criminal stuff, because my hopes eventually is to, because I know that I can't, you know, not everybody has access to me, but it's like how to hone in and how to tap into, you know, that side of things for yourself. If you yourself are going through something where, you know, you have a missing loved one, or, you know, you're trying to seek justice for somebody. Right. So,
I love that. I cannot wait for this to come out. I was like flying through the chapters, and you have some really cool stuff in there, like some historical stuff. Today on your stories, you were talking about Abraham Lincoln, and I was like, chapter. I like went back to the chapter, and I was thinking about the slippers, and literally as you were talking about it on the stories, I was like in my mind, having read the book, like I just was like seeing everything that you were talking about, and it's very, very well written, and I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's going to really, really help a lot of people. Abe Lincoln will be proud of you.
Thank you. Abe.
Good old Abe. Good old Abe in his slippers.
Exactly.
Talk to me about the greatest ghost challenge. We have been manifesting a TV show for you for a long time. And you went out to Calico to film a really interesting TV show experience. Tell me about this experience. Tell me about the show. What was it like? How can people learn more about this?
So it was definitely something that I've never done anything like that before. It was
where is Calico?
It's in California.
California, okay.
Yeah. So it's basically an old like mining town in a nutshell. So which feels very haunted.
Spooky to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just does.
Yeah. It was very cool. A lot of history there. I can't really disclose too much about it, but it was definitely a life-changing experience. It was the people, just the whole production crew, the cast, like everybody, just amazing, amazing people.
Yeah, and I feel like for you to showcase your gift and that type of experience was probably both unique for you and unique not only for the people on the show, but also for everyone that was there in production.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. So I can't wait to see when that airs. And
it's different. It's not like anything that's been on television before. It's definitely a different little spin or twist to it. But it was cool. It was really cool.
Very, very cool. So people will have to tune in. The name of it is The Greatest Ghost Challenge.
The Great Ghost Challenge.
The Great Ghost Challenge.
Yep.
Okay, so people will have to tune in when that comes out.
Yep.
Well, listen, this today is like a moment in time for me. I absolutely adore you and love you. And you have been such a special part of my life. And I'm grateful that I get to ride out this second chapter of my life as an adult with you in it. You know, I think we go through life where we have our young friends as kids, and as adults, we get to choose who we want around us. And you have always been an incredible safe space for me and such a special friend to me. And I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of healers, and you are incredibly gifted at what you do. And you are literally on this earth to help people and to help them heal and to bring goodness into them. And I'm not joking when I say you are sunshine for the soul. And this was so cool for me to have you here today and for this to be a full circle moment and just like a special moment in time for our friendship. And I'm just so grateful for you to be here. And I just absolutely love and adore you.
I love and adore you too. Thank you so much. I know I said it to you already. This means so much to me that we're doing this right now, and I appreciate and I love you, and I feel that you're my sunshine for my soul.
Two sunshines for the soul. Where can people find you? Like if people want to do a reading with you, if people want to connect with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So you could go to Cifaldi, NewJerseyMedium.com.
Perfect.
And you could book
and they can message and book through you there.
And I'm on Instagram too at Laura_Cifaldi.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Good.
Thank you.